Unfortunately, I'm going to show you what happens with these things when they get messed with too much. And so I'm having to make some accommodations. This is the escutcheon for the 7S682. And if you look really close, you'll see there are some little tabs. Come on, camera, focus. Some little tabs that hold the glass onto the escutcheon. Well, there are supposed to be tabs all the way around. There's supposed to be a couple of tabs, like one here, one here, one here, and one here. So there's 4 of these tabs that are missing on this thing. And so what that does is it makes it really difficult for me to securely mount this escutcheon. And the problem with that is that this escutcheon is made of material that kind of makes it difficult. You can't like solder a tab to it. You really can't do anything. So the escutcheon itself is not going to be useful if I don't find a way to make the glass stay in place. So what I've done is I bought, from Radio Days, you can buy this rubber channel. Okay, I bought some of this rubber channel. I bought the large size. Okay, I have some of this in the large size. It's hard to see there. There we go. All right, in the large size. And I took a small piece of it and I put one on each side in the 2 tabs that remain. And then of course those tabs are going to fit really tight now, and that material isn't going to sit real well in the tabs. As you can hopefully see, it doesn't sit the greatest in these tabs. But it does hold it tight. That's the only way really that I'm going to get this glass to stay in place. And this glass won't move. It's not going to go anywhere. And this rubber is good rubber. It will last a long time. So I think this is going to work. It's not my favorite. I really don't like it, but it's either that or not use this escutcheon, and this is the escutcheon that he has. I have spare escutcheons in my personal collection, but I really I like to hold on to those for the same reason that everybody else does. They're not making them anymore. I haven't made them in 70 years, so I really want to hold on to the ones I have for my own stuff. But if he wants me to look on eBay and so forth, whatever, I can do that for him. But in the meantime, this is going to work, and I think you'll probably be content with this. Just wanted to show you. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when you move these, so I see a lot of people when they have little tabs holding switches together, pots together, that kind of thing, they'll bend the snot out of them back and forth. They'll only take 1 or 2 cycles of that bending. It's the same with these tabs. It's almost like it's like a spring steel almost, the way it is. It's really brittle and prone to cracking. So when you bend them, you bend them with the tweezer nose just enough to make clearance for what you need. You need to get the glass in there. Don't be cranking those things wide open. Or if you have to crank a couple of them wide open just to start the glass into the escutcheon, don't crank all of them. Okay, just crank just what you need. Just open them up just what you need, because these things have a very finite number of times that they can be bent. So that's just a watch out for everybody. I hope you don't run into the same situation that I've run into here. I think this is going to be okay. It's just lucky that I have this material and that it seems to work in this way. But I might not be so lucky next time. Okay, here is the record player bottom all ready to be installed. I ran the signal cable to a terminal strip that I installed on the bottom of the record player. The signal cable is basically a shielded single conductor wire. Of course, the outer shield is the negative side of the pickup, the cartridge, and then of course, and the center wire is the positive, which I then connected to another similar cable that will then go off to the radio. Now, as far as avoiding ground loops, you just want to make sure that all of the grounds related to the record player terminate at the same point, and that point needs to be on the radio so you can avoid ground loops. And so I've got this this ground cable that ground wire that I've set up that when you look at the back side of the radio, right here you have the pickup positive. That goes to a resistor that feeds into the record player part of the amplifier circuit. And the negative will connect to this negative ground point right here on the radio. That will also, I mean, that negative is chassis ground. Remembering that this chassis, excuse me, the chassis is not the most negative part of the radio. The most negative part of this radio is B minus, but it does have a chassis common ground, and that's where this this record player will be connected. And of course, that chassis ground then goes off to line ground. That's how I'll avoid the ground loop hum that you sometimes get with record players. That should do a pretty good job of that. I made the cables long enough so that I can, you know, reach the record player when they're in the cabinet. Now, if you look very carefully at the Zenith record player plug, you'll notice that that is neither an RCA plug nor you know, one of those plugs like the speaker plug where it's a phenolic. This is a simple, it is like the phenolic in the sense that it uses it uses a pin about the same size as what's in the speaker connector, but there's just one of them. Well, I've never seen you know, a plug for that, and I could have, you know, maybe gotten a pin somewhere and made it work. But what I decided to do was I found that an RCA jack, the positive part, the positive pin of an RCA jack will fit right in that opening. Well, it's pretty hard to do this one-handed, so I won't try, but take my word for it, it will fit right in there. And what I did was I cut the shield off of this RCA plug. Boy, this camera stinks. I cut the shield off, so all I have connected is the positive part of this plug. And I will plug that in. I'll use that as the connector, and then of course the shielded part of the pickup cable goes to this common ground again to avoid the ground loops. So the shield of this cable is not connected at the pickup end. Okay, it's just connected to ground so that any noise that finds its way to this cable will go immediately to ground and you won't hear it in the system. That's worked for me before. I don't see any reason why it won't work this time, and we'll see how it goes in the cabinet. I'm getting ready to put all this stuff in there.